Hi, this is Majnu, and we'll continue now our middle game training. This is day 11 now. Well, these last days I've been busy doing the analysis of the games that you sent me. So I'm very happy that this game analysis service that I started on my webpage is so successful. But now it's time to continue with what we left, the middle game training. I've chosen for a game between Yuri Balashov and Paul Keres, played in Tallinn 1973. In this position I'm going to show you the first move. White is white to move, and white did a very interesting move that is not very easy to understand. He played here rook to d6, and what I want to ask you is to think about the following question: what would you do with white after black replies queen to c7, defending the bishop on c6 and attacking the rook on d6? So we are talking about this position. What would you do here with white? Pause the video if you like. I'll continue the explanation in a few moments. Alright, so this move, rook to d6, shows us how strategy and tactics go hand in hand. If queen c7 would have been played in the game, the preparation of Yuri Balashov was to play here the move knight to f5. With knight to f5 he attacks the bishop on g5, and if black replies now bishop takes c1, then comes the tactical idea: we don't take on c1. Now there is here on e7 is a possible fork. That means that at this point white can play rook takes e6. The rook cannot be taken because of knight e7 winning the queen, and if the queen moves away, then rook takes e1 will follow, and white will have won a piece. So this is the idea. And what happened in the game? Well, the black player Paul Keres saw this, so he didn't play queen to c7. He got rid of the knight on e3. Bishop takes e3 to get rid of this dangerous knight, and here white replied bishop takes e3. Now as a result, now we see that the rook from a1 can be brought to the d file. So in fact white is using this tactical idea to make strategic improvements. The main strategic idea is in this position to control the d file, to double up the rooks there. And this is how important it is to really think in strategical terms of what are the most important squares where I want to have my pieces. And this invites sometimes also some tactical patterns that can be used to achieve these strategical plans. In this position black continued with queen to c7, attacking the rook, and now rook a to d1. White has achieved the first part of his plan, controlling the d file. Now what's the next part of his plan? White would like now to open some diagonals for this bishop. This is actually white's worst placed piece. In the game is black to move here, so he played rook f to e8, supporting more this pawn on e5, so then the knight is free to move without this pawn becoming vulnerable. So white continued his plan by playing b3. A mistake was made now by black. Black took on b3. and this actually helped white in achieving his idea of activating this bishop. Bishop takes b3. Now this beautiful diagonal towards f7 is being opened. So taking on b3 is not the best thing that he could have done. It would have been better, for example, to play knight to f6. With knight to f6, still the position of white is better. White can take on c4, but the interesting thing is that now black could take on e4, so knight takes e4, and here things become again very tactical. Look at this interesting move, bishop to b6. Again tactics, attacking the queen, and if this bishop is taken, then e4 will fall, like this, and we reach a position where still we have a pin here on c6, so black will have to do something about that, defending this bishop on b6, and then white simply trades. Bishop takes e6, bishop takes e6, and again there are tactics here. There is a possible background mate, so white can play queen takes e5. Now this whole variation that I'm showing you now is not forced completely, but it's a way again to show you that strategy and tactics go hand in hand. Let's continue. Let's go back to the game. I mean, it goes actually too far now for this lesson to analyze in depth what the best continuation would be for black and all the possibilities and variations. So let's stick to the game to make things clear and see what happened. Bishop takes b3. Now here black played knight to f8. With knight to f8 he prepares eventually rook a to d8 perhaps. Also an idea would be to bring this knight to e6, to have it on an important square where it blocks this diagonal. So it's a move with several purposes. White now moved the queen from e2 to h5. White is concentrating on the square f7. That's where we have now two pieces attacking the bishop and the queen. It's only defended by the queen and the king, so that means that we can try to deflect black's queen. I'm sorry. That means that there is a threat here of rook takes c6. If queen takes c6, then follows queen takes f7, king h8, and queen g8 checkmate. So black needs to defend this f7 point. Rook e7 was played, and white continued attacking the defender now. Bishop to g5, attacking the rook, and black played rook to e6, accepting that he's losing material now. There's no way to prevent it. He's allowing white to take on d8. Now the interesting thing is that the white player didn't do it right now. He waited a bit. First he played bishop to d8, attacking the queen. After the queen went to b7, now he took on e6. Black replied knight takes e6, and we reach now a position where white is actually controlling everything. The d file is the most important thing. The queen is very active in the sense that he's attacking the e5 pawn and also eventually attacking the f7 pawn, if later we can arrange some tactics there. The only way for black to get some counterplay would be to, for example, take on a4 and then open the b file, or seeing if he can somehow capture this e4 pawn. Now the problem right now is that he cannot capture on e4, because if he would, then rook to d7 can follow, attacking the queen, and again with the threat of queen takes f7. Now, because of the fact that black has actually no way to play actively, white decided to fix the queen side by the move a4 a5. So now there is no clear option of here opening this queen side and finding some play there. Notice that also now if bishop takes e4, well, there are actually two ideas. You can play, as I said, rook to d7, but even faster perhaps is rook takes e6, because this rook cannot be taken. After f takes e6 there is checkmate with queen to e8. So this is another winning variation. Black played here the move h6 to give some air to the king. So this variation that I just showed you doesn't count anymore because the king can escape to h7. But white simply took now the pawn on e5. b4 was played. That's where black wants to open some lines and see if he can attack. White took on b4, and of course black cannot take with the queen right now on b4 because the bishop on c6 is hanging. So he plays first bishop to a4, attacking the rook, and white continued with the move rook to b6, attacking the queen, defending b4. Is, as I said before, controlling everything. Is a matter of time to win this game with white, and it happened in a few moves actually. Queen to c8 was played now, and now the rook on d1 looks for safety. Rook to d3. The knight took now on d8, and white continued with rook to g3. So let's go back here, because this is an important moment, that it looks as if black is regaining material, but the fact is that by placing his knight on d8 is blocking his queen from the king side. So a defensive move like queen to f8 is not possible anymore. That's why rook to g3 is such a strong move now. There is no way to defend the g7 square now, and the threat is of course mate in 1, queen takes g7. Here black played f6, and now if you want to exercise your tactical view, pause the video and see where to find well, there are different ways of winning here, but there is one very beautiful tactical idea. So if you want to practice, pause the video and do some calculation, write some variations, and I'll show you the rest of the game in a few seconds. Alright, white moved here, rook takes, g7 check. These are things that when you see this kind of positions, it must actually be clear that this could win, so you have to calculate what happens if he takes and what happens if he doesn't take. In the game, king takes g7 was played, queen takes f6 check, king goes to g8, queen to g6 check, king f8, and now rook to f6, and there is no way of saving the game now. If the king would go to let's say e7, trying to escape there is of course queen to g7 followed by mate in a few moves. Let's see what would have happened if black doesn't take this rook. Well, also then the position is hopeless for him, because here we simply play rook takes f6. If the king takes now the rook, then we have the same sort of position, but just mirrored. So the queen gives now a check here, and the same thing. If it goes back, there's a checkmating 1. If the knight comes in between, first the knight is taken, and then mate will follow soon. So after rook takes, f6, there's not much to do. Well, this check here doesn't achieve anything. You simply play king to h2, and the threat is of course to checkmate on f8. And there is no way to save this game. There is also no, that's it. The h6 is defended by the queen. I wanted to say rook takes h6 is a threat, but that's not true. But well, anyway, as you see, the main idea in this example, I'll go back to where we started here, is that White is constantly using these tactical ideas to improve his strategic plan of controlling the d-file. And we saw that there were later in the game also some beautiful tactical patterns that start arising. So a very nice attacking play by White here, and making use later of the absence of the defense of the square g7 to start the final attack against the black king. I hope you found this an interesting and instructive example, and we'll continue soon with part 12 of this series. Thanks for watching, and leave your comments on YouTube. Goodbye.